Ladies and gentlemen, the next story is not about missiles. It is not about fighter jet. It is not even about soldiers. It is about something every family understands: money. Because when a war begins in one part of the world, the first question many people ask is, will it affect me? And if you are living in the US or Canada, specifically on an H-1B visa, the answer could be yes. Most people think wars only affect the countries that are involved. But modern wars don't stop at borders. They affect oil, they affect inflation, they affect interest rate, and eventually they affect your monthly budget. Well, according to the data from the US Energy Information Administration, America's strategic petroleum reserve has fallen to one of the lowest level in decades. At the very same time, tensions around the Strait of Hormuz have pushed the oil prices sharply higher, sending fuel prices up once again across the United States. Now, you may ask, why does the price of oil matter to somebody working in California, Seattle, or New York? Let me answer that. Because expensive oil does not only increase petrol prices, it makes transportation more expensive, it raises the shipping cost, it increases the cost of food, goods, service. So, in simple words, almost everything becomes more expensive. And when inflation it begins rising again, the US Federal Reserve it faces a difficult decision. Either this year, many experts expected interest rate to come down. Lower interest rate usually help business grow, encourage companies to hire more people, and make borrowing cheaper. But if inflation stays high because of rising energy prices, the Federal Reserve may decide to keep the interest rate high for a long period of time. And this is where the story becomes important for thousands of Indians working in America's tech sector. High interest rate increase the cost of borrowing for companies. When companies spend more on loans, they often spend less on hiring. Expansion plan it gets delayed, recruitment slows down, hiring freezes, and sometimes company even reduce their workforce, and that means layoff. For Indian professionals working on H-1B visas, this creates another level of uncertainty. Finding a new sponsored job it becomes much harder when companies are hiring fewer people. If somebody loses their job, they only have limited period of time, probably 60 days, just to secure another employer willing to sponsor their visa. In a slow job market, that becomes much more difficult. The impact does not stop there. Higher interest rate also affect people planning to buy a house. Mortgage rate it remains expensive, making monthly payments much higher than many families had expected. Well, for thousands of Indian professionals who had planned to purchase homes in the US this year, those dreams may now have to wait a little more. And wait. That is why economists often say that geopolitics and personal finance are deeply connected. A conflict in West Asia can influence the cost of your petrol, your home, your monthly expenses, and even your career opportunity. Sometimes the biggest consequences of the war it is not seen on the television. They are seen in the household budgets. But yes, while millions of people worry about inflation and job security, one viral video from America has started an entirely different conversation about human cost of war.